Welcome to this month at the Fall River Career Center. My name is Eric Alberto, manager of the Taunton Career Center, and I have the pleasure of being your host for today's show. For the next 30 minutes, we will talk about everything that is happening at our Bristol County Career Centers, including Attleboro, Fall River, and Taunton. Ultimately, our goal is to educate our viewers on everything that happens at the Career Center, our workshops, our recruitments, our one-on-one services. So we want to get people down into the Career Center to utilize all of our employment and training services. Discussing our services today, though, will just be a small fragment of today's show. As usual, I'm happy to have an esteemed panel here. And I start with Mr. Bob Horter. He's with the Bristol County Sheriff's Office, and he is the Assistant Superintendent of Training and Recruiting.
Correct.
All right, thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
I also have Michelle Marcos. She is with St. Anne's Credit Union. She is the Human Resource Rep, VP of Human Resources. She's been there over 15 years. And she has take credit for hiring the great talent over at St. Anne's. We have Norma Santos, who is our job specialist at the Career Center. Norma Santos does a lot of our workshops, our networking workshops, our interviewing workshops, and our resume workshop. And of course, we have Kim Frank here, who is our business service representative at the Fall River Career Center. So I'd like to start off with Bob, throwing you right into the fire here.
There you go. That's all right.
Bob, we had a recruitment over at the Career Center in Taunton. I know you had one in Fall River and Attleboro, but I remember marketing the recruitment, and I had such a huge response in terms of people that I've never even seen at the Career Center. People were extremely interested, and I think it was a lot to do with it just not being a job. It feels like a career when you work for the Bristol County Sheriff's Office. I saw that you have like over 30 divisions in the Sheriff's Department. Can you talk a little bit about the careers that you offer and what type of job openings that you have?
Absolutely. First of all, on behalf of the Sheriff, I want to thank you for having us here today. The job fair that we had in Taunton at the Career Center was amazing. We had over 50 people that attended the job fair itself. And some people think that the only jobs that we offer are those of correction officer. And we do have more than just correctional officer careers there. We have many different divisions ranging from caseworkers to K-9, law enforcement, special investigations unit, education, the kitchen, secretarial, finance, and so on. So when we're out doing a job fair, we may concentrate on correction officers, but we also offer those other positions as well. And what I found with the Taunton Career Center, the day that we were there was a diverse group of people there. They were not just looking for the correction officer positions. And many of them would come to me and they said, Bob, I'm not just looking for a job. I want something that will last me for a long time. And those are careers. And when we hire our people, we let them know these are careers. When you're making a choice to work at the Sheriff's Office, you are making a career choice because most of our employees stay there a long period of time. I have been there with the Sheriff's Office for nearly 24 years now. So it has been a very good career for myself.
Yeah, that's great. So what is the hiring process like? So, you know, I noticed on your website, you can go on, you can download the application, fill out the application. Where does it go from there? Okay.
It's a fairly simple process. First of all, like I tell all those who are at the career fairs, you can't do anything without a job application, okay? Our job applications can be acquired one of two ways. Either they can go by the office at 400 Fons Corner Road in Dartmouth to pick up an application, or they can go on our website, bcso-ma.us, and they can go on the website and download an application because many of us now are computer savvy and we can download there. Once the job application has been filled out, they can bring that job application into the sheriff's office. You cannot send it via email. You would have to deliver it, hand deliver it, or mail it in.
Okay.
And along with your application, no matter what position you hold, attached to that application, you need to attach to it 3 separate documents. One is a copy of your driver's license. One is a copy of your high school diploma or GED. And one is a copy of your birth certificate.
Okay.
Once all of the paperwork is in, then depending on what job you are applying for, might go through a different method. Okay. For example, a correction officer may go through a few different steps than someone who is applying for another position there. But basically, the first steps are all the same. Everyone goes through a Cori check to make sure their background is clear. Once the Cori checks come back, those who pass will continue on to the next phase. Those who don't will receive a letter. Once the Cori check is done, then it goes through the interview process.
Okay.
Okay, whatever the position is that they may be applying for, they'll be called in for an interview at that time. Once the interview process is done, then they will go to a background phase. The background phase will only go through those, will only apply to those who pass the interview process itself. So far, no matter which position that you're applying for, you're going through that process.
Okay.
Once the background phase is complete, those who pass the background phase, the sheriff then will select the best person for the position itself.
Okay.
If it's a position outside of correction officer. If it's a correction officer position, then those people will have to go through 2 separate steps. I apologize, 1 separate step. Everyone has to go through a physical, a medical physical, but a correction officer has to go through a physical fitness test.
Okay.
The physical fitness test will test their dexterity. It will test whether or not they'll be able to handle themselves in an emergency situation, if they're healthy enough to do so. Those who pass that phase, then all those applications will go before the sheriff. And if we have 30 positions in the next academy, he will select 30 people, the best 30 people for those positions.
Okay, great.
So that is our
That's
application
great.
process.
I know we cover a lot of, some of the, we do workshops on how to write an application, how to write a resume, interviewing. I don't think we have a physical fitness workshop yet, but I think you're starting a Zumba class, right, Norma? Thanks, Bob. I appreciate you coming down.
Thank you very much for having us.
Michelle, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Michelle, I was telling you earlier, I do my banking at St. Anne's, and I noticed, and I do it the one in Somerset. I know you have over 8 offices, but I go to the one in Somerset, and I notice every time I go in, the staff there is exceptionally friendly. The customer service is incredible. And I know it goes without saying that you probably look for people with good attitudes when you're hiring them or when you're interviewing them. But how extensively do you look at that? How important is it that somebody comes in, has a good attitude, and can present that they have good people skills?
It's very important. The credit provides. Sorry.
That's okay. Take your time.
The credit prides itself on excellent customer service. So we do expect that our candidates are people, that they enjoy dealing with the public is very important for the credit union. So when we do the interviews, we do ask if they have previous experience dealing with customer service.
Okay.
So it's very important to us.
Extremely important.
Absolutely.
How did you get started there?
Actually, I've been there for 19 years. I started there as a part-time switchboard operator while I was going to college.
Oh, no kidding.
And I've been there ever since. It's a great place to work. I personally love it there. We definitely have advancement for employees that are currently there.
Okay. I noticed on your website as well, in terms of the hiring process, people could either download the application, fill that out, or they can actually send you their resume.
Right.
And you review all those resumes yourself?
Yes, we review all the resumes that come into the department review the qualifications, and then we will call them in for interviews. They're able to go to all of our branch locations to pick up an application, or go on our website and download an application or submit a resume.
So you make it as easy as possible for them.
Absolutely, and we also do use the Career Center.
You do?
Yes, we do.
Great.
I do post positions at the JobQuest site, and I also have contacts at the Fall River and the Taunton Career Centers.
Okay, great. And I know you talked about using Marilyn Offer and Dave Souza at the Fall River Career Center, and Kim Frank as well. Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Norma is our very enthusiastic job specialist at the Fall River Career Center. Norma, before we get into your workshops, I know you do a networking workshop, which is very inspirational. I know you try to talk to people about networking, but you also try to encourage people and empower them. And I've seen your workshop, you do a fantastic job. But I want to get started by asking you what your experience initially was with the Career Center. I know you utilized some of the services when you were unemployed. Now, I hate to use the word unemployed. I use free agent. I like to use free agent. Unemployed just sounds bad.
That's fine.
So when you were a free agent,
Yep.
how did you use the service?
Well, I went to the Career Center, North Main Street, and I was taken back. I couldn't believe all the services that were available. I took advantage of everything that was there. I come from a private sector, so I knew the private sector way. I didn't know the world way, which once I got to the Career Center, I took advantages of the job club, the resume workshops, anything that was there to offer. I built, great partnerships and rapport with the job developers, the career counselors, and again, I just took advantage of everything that was available to me. It flooded my zone as one of the speakers came into the job club. I told just Steve Martin, he comes down once in a while to talk to the folks, and I just took it from there. Flood your zone and just get out there and do what you have to do.
Norma, if I was, laid off today, which after this show maybe I will be laid off.
No, you won't.
If I was laid off today, I have a computer at home. I
Right.
can apply for jobs at home. I can get the newspaper. I can send Michelle and Bob my resume. I can network myself. Why should I come to the Fall River Career Center?
Eric, I'll tell you, you will never get the services like we're able to offer at the Career Center. We have career counseling, specialized veteran services. We offer an array of workshops in all three centers. We have employment services. I could go on and on. We even help folks with labor market, understanding the area, demographics, on how when they apply for a job and how successful that all is.
That's a great point that you bring up, the labor market.
Very
I think if job seekers can customize their job search and focus on the jobs that are available and focus on the training that they need, they can probably end up where they want to be in terms of employment quicker. And I think that's important. That's a good point that you bring up, that we do have labor market information at the career centers, and that's extremely important. Talk to us a little bit about your workshops, your networking workshop. You were telling me you put up balloons. You try to you try to make it fun. I think that's important too.
That's what it's all about. It's learning and having fun at the same time. It's very motivational. A lot of the folks come in, and after being unemployed for a certain amount of time, folks start to lose a little bit of hope. And during the networking class, we start them with networking and put them through various workshops. But with the networking, you look at, the 75% national average of job seekers find work, employment via networking. I take them back to basics. People they know, people who know them, and that's how did you find your first job, and we take it from there. And so they had a great network to begin with. So if you figure 50 people, that's your primary, you're taking those 50 that know another 50, now you have 2,500 people looking for work.
Right, absolutely.
So we just try to get those things, to work with them. And then it's great. I've always wanted to be a school teacher, and I think, that gives me a great opportunity to be able to work in all the workshops, because I get to see them learn as they go through. They begin with network, and then they go on to the resume workshop, and by the time they leave the Career Center, they have all the tools they need.
They're empowered.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I know people come in all the time and they say, getting a job is about who you know, and I say, well, go out and meet people then.
That's
right. Nobody does that better than Kim Frank, right? She's out in the field. She's talking to a multitude of businesses, constantly at the Career Center. I'm getting phone calls for Kim from, big organizations, and Kim's out in the field doing a great job.
Thank you.
Kim, talk to me a little bit about, the events that are going on at the Career Center, the upcoming events.
Well, as most people are probably unaware of, unless they're actually, visiting the career centers daily or weekly, we offer a variety of different events that, take place monthly. As a matter of fact, March 10th, we're going to be holding an industry briefing for American Income Life Insurance in Fall River. Employment 2000, Bristol County Sheriff's Department, Mr. Horter. Arbor Counseling and FedEx will also be joining us on March 11th in Taunton. We're having a job fair. March 12th, job fair in Attleboro. We have several employers that will be joining us as well in Attleboro in the office. You know, with so many people out of work, you know, a lot of people don't realize that we actually have employers that like to visit the career centers.
Right.
So to know ahead of time, we always have calendars ahead of time available. You can stop in anytime and grab a calendar at any of the career centers and kind of get a brief, you know, update as to what's coming, you know, coming to the career centers. I know in Taunton, we like to have our board put up daily with all of the recruitments and all of the events that will be taking place there in Taunton. But all the career centers like to advertise well ahead of time as to what companies will be coming in. So it gives the job seekers a chance to actually come into the career centers and meet one-on-one with the employers, whether it's for an industry briefing or for an actual on-the-spot interview. It gives you a chance to actually sit down and you know the employers, know what they're looking for. And you know, a lot of times they come in for certain positions, Eric.
Right.
And you know, maybe that one position is not exactly what the employer is looking for or what the job seeker is looking for. Many times we actually have the employer take the job seeker and actually have them apply for a different position that they have in mind for the person, and many times it works out for them. So it definitely pays to stop into the career centers and kind of get updated on what the upcoming events are. We have a lot going on at the career center. So if you are home sitting on the couch thinking, why don't I utilize these services, this is the time to do it. And if you are an employer that is looking to fill some some positions, please contact me either in the Fall River Career Center or in Taunton, and I'd be glad to meet with you at any time, whether it's at your business or at the Career Center.
So as an employer, if I did contact you, and you already talked about this a little bit, but what's the process from there? So I say, Kim, I got these 10 jobs, I want to hire people right away. Kind of take me through the process. What happens from there?
Well, after they reach me, a lot of times I'll set up dates to actually go out and meet with the companies. I'm on the road daily. And I'd love to actually, hands-on. I'd like to get into the company, take a look for myself, see what it's about. Sit down with the employer and get a feel for the company. And as most of us know, we have two customers. We have job seekers and we have employers. And it's my job, as well as everyone at the Career Center and you as employers, to make sure that you're pairing up the right job seeker with the right positions. So I will gladly go out and meet with you. And if you'd like to come down to the Career Center and take a tour of the Career Center, please feel free to do that too, because a lot of employers are not really aware of the services that we provide at the Career Center.
Right.
So I'd meet with them and just kind of sit down and figure out the best way of assisting the employer.
Great. Thanks, Kim.
You're very welcome.
Bob, if I could just get back to you for a second. One of the biggest questions I had initially when I set up the recruitment at the Career Center, people were calling me and they were asking me about restrictions. Are there any restrictions in terms of hiring correctional officers? People asking me, do you have to be a certain age?
There are a few restrictions, as in any job.
Right.
With the Bristol County Sheriff's Office, you have to be at least 19 years of age. You have to have a valid driver's license.
Okay.
You have to have a GED or a high school degree. And then there are other restrictions depending on the job. If the job requires a certain certification or a degree in that particular job. So there are different requirements with the jobs.
Okay, great. I was also looking at the website and I saw some of the inmate work programs that the sheriff has developed since he's been in office since 1997, I believe. He was appointed by Governor Weld, and it seems to save the community $1.3 million annually. Some of the programs that tremendous, not only tremendous for the community because they're doing a lot of great things. The anti-graffiti unit, the landscaping. They had something that I loved. I was on the website and they saw a before and after picture of a baseball field, and they went out there and they rehabbed the baseball field. So that's great work that they're doing in the community. But I think every person, what they get from actually going out and working, the self-esteem that you get, you feel proud about yourself. It's really important what the Sheriff's Department is doing there. Then when they visit us, they're ready to hit the ground running. So I think he's doing a great job over there. So
thank you.
We really appreciate that. We had talked about doing some lists earlier where the cameras started rolling. I think I was looking at the wrong camera to start, so I apologize to our viewers out there, but that's okay. I don't have to keep looking at my face. So, but since it's Oscar weekend, and I know this show will be, you won't see the show until the Oscars are completed, but I kind of wanted to have a little bit of an Oscar theme to this. So I came up with my top 5 inspirational movies of all time, if I can find it over here. And you guys are not off the hook. You got to think of some of your most inspirational movies. Bob, I already know yours. I know it's Rocky 2. So anybody want to hear my list? Anybody interested? We got a few minutes left here. So my top 5, you got to write this down, top 5 most inspirational movies for a job seeker from Eric Alberto. Number 5 I have is Cinderella Man. Anybody ever watch Cinderella Man? Yeah. James Braddock, right? Was in from depression. He was a boxer, knocked out, came back, ended up winning the world title. A great, great movie. If anybody hasn't watched that, it's a very inspirational movie, not only for a job seeker, but for anybody looking to be inspired. Number 4, I got mostly all sports movies in here, of course, because I'm a big sports fan, but I have Miracle. If anybody's familiar with the 1980 Olympic hockey team. It's the story of the 1980 Olympic hockey team. Isn't that a good one, Norma? Yeah, right? Number 3, I go with Jerry Maguire, a little bit off the cuff, but you know, show me the money, right? Is that a good salary negotiation if I went in there, Michelle, and said, you know, show me the money? Right? Number 2, I got Erin Brockovich. You bet you didn't think that was going to be on my list, Kim, right? Okay. Big one. And number 1, I think I shared this with Norma, It's a Wonderful Life. So those are my top 5 inspirational movies all time. And one of those movies makes me cry. I won't tell you which one it is, but. Bob, you got any?
I do. It's the one that was snubbed this year at the Oscars, The Butler.
Oh, The Butler. I haven't seen that one.
It tells a great story of what it was like in the segregation era in the 50s. Mm-hmm. It tells a beautiful story, actually, and it definitely opens our eyes to what happened and what may still be occurring in some places. Right. So I have a great deal of respect for that movie.
I'll have to check that one out.
Please do. Please do.
Michelle.
I said Wall Street.
Wall Street. And which one? The first one?
The first one.
The Charlie Sheen one?
Yes.
The Charlie Sheen one. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I bet you he would do well in interviews
I bet he
would. Norma, I know it's a Wonderful Life, but I think you mentioned a couple others.
Yeah, I really liked my ultimate favorite as well is It's to Serve with Love, just because of the message behind that. You know, how we sometimes need to change our method in order to succeed, you know, how to change.
Right, I like that.
Change.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Kim, Psycho, right?
Psycho was definitely number 1 in my book. Actually, I can't remember the name of the film, but it was about the young lady who lived in Hawaii, who was she was learning to be a champion surfer, whose arm was chewed off by a shark, and how she overcame adversity and she overcame, you know, disability, and she became incredible. And you know that if the job seekers could actually think of, you know, their path in that aspect, I think that would help, because you know, we all face adversity in life. We all face challenges, and nothing in this world, if you put your mind and heart and soul into it, cannot be overcome.
Very inspiring. Very good. And I think, you know, the lesson behind that is not only to be inspired, but you know, I've been you know, a free agent, and you know, sometimes you just got to take your mind off things, and it's good to not always be on job boards, not always have to come down to the career center. So it is important that, you know, as a job seeker, that, you know, you do separate some of your priorities there. So, but ultimately, that's our show today. We want to encourage people to come to any one of our career centers: Fall River, Taunton, Attleboro. Remember, we have veteran services there. We have youth services. We have tons of workshops on resumes, interviewing, branding. We do one in Taunton on branding. Of course, we have our employer recruitments, which I think is ultimately probably the most important aspect of one of the most important services that we offer at the Career Center, because it puts people in touch with each other. So again, our address in Fall River is 446 North Main Street. In Taunton, we're at 72 School Street, and in Attleboro, we've actually moved to 95 Pine Street. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Thanks to my guests. You guys were great, fantastic, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show on this month at the Fall River Career Center.